Good morning. I am so excited for today because I am throwing away my plan to share something that I think is honestly more important. I am really pumped to go live with you today because I have been thinking a lot about what you need. So let's dive on in and get started. So last night I was up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. with my lovely little daughter. And I started to think about today and the message that I was supposed to share with you today, but why I want to pivot totally away from it. Good morning, everyone. Say hi if you're on live. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Mrs. Shag. I was awake with Conley. She was up at 4 in the morning. And I was thinking about today, and I'm like, okay, today I'm supposed to talk about marketing. And if you know me, you know that I love marketing. There is absolutely no secret. Marketing is my favorite thing in the world. It's my jam. It's the way that I'm wired. But as I was sitting there, I started to already talk myself out of today. And I want to know, have you ever done this? Can you give hearts or say hi or say me if this is you? So I'm like, it's 4 in the morning. I've already been up for like a half hour. I'm like, okay, so tomorrow I've got to do this. I'm not going to work out tomorrow. I don't have time to work out tomorrow. And I started to listen to the thoughts of what I was telling myself, the story that I was telling myself about why I didn't have time or why I was not worthy or it's going to be a terrible day because I'm already going to be tired for tomorrow. Have you guys done this? Tell me if you've done this before. That is not just me. And so I was thinking like really hard. I'm like, okay, how many of us were putting everyone in front of us? Everyone is before us. And we're making sure everyone is happy and fed and loved and adored and served before we get to ourselves. And we've all heard the saying, like, you can't fill from an empty cup or whatever that is. That's right. Cheers to this. You can't pour from an empty cup. See, I needed that sip of coffee there. And we kind of roll our eyes at that because I don't know about you, but I shared last night, like I'm a people pleaser to the core. I want to be liked. I don't want to disappoint anyone. And I can see how that trickles into our lives and tricks us out of the things that we know we need to do. Like it becomes this thing where we start to make excuses as to why we need to be the last one served again. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Aninke. Good morning, Meredith. And so I'm like listening to this dialogue in my head and I'm like, Jenna, why are you talking yourself out of 20 minutes of your day? Someone corrected me because I was posting about imperfect leadership and I'm like, 20 minutes is 5% of my day. 20 minutes is 1.5% of my day. 20 minutes, that's it. And so I freaking got myself on my Peloton this morning and I'm all grumbly and I'm like, I don't want to do this. There's so many other things I should be doing right now. And at the end of it, I realized that at the end of our lives, if we are worried about making everyone else happy, do you know what we're going to take to the grave with us? The thought of, well, I hope they were happy, instead of the thought of, I'm so glad I was happy. And lately I've been experiencing a lot of women specifically. I'm just speaking to you women who are going through life saying, I hope they're happy. I hope they're happy. I hope they're happy. And almost being a martyr to the decisions that we make. And I don't want to offend anyone because I am just as guilty of this. Like, is this making sense to you guys? Because what I have been feeling so deeply lately, especially when it comes to empowering women, is that becoming the sacrifice for everyone else, putting ourselves last, going to the grave exhausted, just like you said, Lauren, it's not a badge of honor. And a lot of times we wear that. And so as I was going through this dialogue in my head last night at 4 a.m., I'm like holding this little miracle against my chest. And I'm like, hold frickin' up. This is not going to dictate the rest of my day. And being tired, you know what? I've been tired the last 14 months and I still have gotten things done. And if I am not doing the things that I know I need to do, whether it's work or exercise or eating or just taking time, then how can I expect anyone else? And here was the big shift for me. I am laying my daughter back into bed, and every night when I lay her back down, I just say, I love you so much. I love you to the moon and back. And I thought to myself, what if Conley woke up and she could talk? That'd be so cool. She's getting close. What if she woke up and said to me, like, Mama, I'm going to go out and make everyone happy today? It would almost break my heart, Like, I would want to be like, baby, I want you to do the things that God is calling you to do, and I want you to do them with such passion that people take notice. Have you guys ever had a friend or a loved one, or even maybe yourself, where you know that they're not living up to their full potential? You know that there are lies going through their head that are holding them back, and you just want to rip the chains off and free them and say, go and do the things you were meant to do. And I don't know if that's you or someone you love, but there is nothing that fires me up more than seeing someone not live up to their potential. Like, it breaks me. Because life is so short. I'm not even a basketball fan. I'm genuinely not a basketball fan, but I caught glimpses of the Kobe Bryant celebration of his life and the ceremony. And it's like, we needed a reminder that, like, we don't have forever. We don't have forever. And so many of us are just going through our days and we're saying, okay, what does everyone else need? What does everyone else need? How can I say yes to everyone? And if there's room at the end, I'll say yes to myself. And how many years does this continue to happen, right? And so I look at myself just as I look at you, and I see all of these tendencies within myself, and I think, gosh darn it, like, if I'm struggling with this, then you have to be too. And so I want to know right now, either give hearts or comments or whatever, like, are there things in your life, on your heart, in your mind, in your brain? Is there a message that you are like feeling so called to get out into the world, but you keep talking yourself out of it? You're having those 4 a.m. discussions like I did about just why it can wait, why it's not possible, why everything else needs to come before it. Because if I'm having those thoughts, then you have to be having them too. And so today I was supposed to get on here and talk about marketing, but what good is marketing if you don't have a message, if you don't have a compelling enough reason to show up, to start doing the work, to keep the promises to yourself? It's almost like we find this really weird joy in proving ourselves wrong. Okay, stick with me. How many of you have started a diet? Or you said, I'm going to work out every single day, or I'm going to read a book a month, or I'm going to get out and go on a walk every single day. And you fall off one day, and it's almost like you're saying to yourself, I told you so. I told you you couldn't do it. I told you you wouldn't stick with it. I knew that you couldn't do this thing. It's like we almost find that joy in being like, yeah, you were right. You let yourself down again. And what would it look like if we as women started showing up and just aiming to prove ourselves right? You don't need to prove anyone else right. You don't need to prove the girl on Instagram right. You don't need to prove your college best friend who might be judging what you're doing. What if we just woke up and said, you know what? Today you're going to be right because you are going to do the things that you promised yourself you're going to do. And life is going to get messy and you're going to be tempted to self-sabotage and time is just going to slip away and you're going to wonder, how do we get here? But the thing is that if we change a narrative in our heads, if we say, I am going to get up and I'm going to prove myself right. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get on that bike. I'm going to bike for 20 minutes, even if I hate every minute of it. And I'm going to say, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because so many of us are going through our days saying, I hope that they're happy. And no one is worried about our happiness, right? When's the last time someone asked you, are you happy today? Are you happy today? Are you happy with the way that you showed up? Are you happy with the things that you did? Did you keep those promises to yourself that you made today? So I could get on here and talk about marketing because that's inside of the program and it's a brilliant module, but how are we ever even going to start thinking about marketing if we don't have a compelling enough reason to just show up and keep a damn promise to ourselves? I'm sorry, I don't swear much, but dang. So let me just take a sip of coffee. I feel like this needs a cheers. So when I think about what's happening tomorrow and I'm thinking about the training and I'm thinking about hundreds of thousands of eyeballs, it makes me want to pee my pants. But it also reminds me that there are hundreds of thousands of chances of just making somebody believe in themselves and hold a promise to themselves. And yes, a course is going to be sold. And yes, there are going to be success stories. But you know what I hope that you see? I hope that you see just the tiniest bit of your own story reflected in the stories of people who finally, for once in their life, kept a promise to themselves and they're making a bigger impact. Impact, friends. When we are so fixated on running around and taking care of everyone else and talking ourselves out of the things that we know we are being called to, that we know the world is telling us it is our time. Time is not promised. We are doing the entire world a disservice. Do not go through life saying, I hope they're happy. I want for you to go through life and say, dang, I made a difference. Dang, I kept that promise to myself, and dang, I was happy. So I really hope that you show up tomorrow. I'll probably try to bring you to church again because I just feel like the Lord is just laying all of these thoughts on my heart, especially at 4 a.m. when I think about the decisions that you have to make as you navigate what this next decade of life is going to look like for you. You are going to be faced with so many decisions that are going to make you ask, am I worth it? Am I worthy of this? Do I even have a mess to turn into a message? And I just hope that you start saying these tiny little yeses to yourself, these just really minor yeses. When I started to realize the narrative that was happening in my head at 4 a.m. about why today would be hard or tired or why I didn't deserve 1.5% of my day, I started to shift it and say, you will keep a promise to yourself because you're worthy of that. You will make sure that today you show up for yourself so that you can show up for everyone else. And that, my friends, is why I'm showing up for you today, is because I talked myself out of the lies that I so quickly could have believed. So I'm sorry we didn't talk about marketing today, but I think this was way more important for you. And I am so excited. I need to go pack my bags because tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. I am jumping on a plane to take part in the largest training the internet has ever seen. And honestly, I am just so excited to share about journeys that probably look a lot like the one you're living. Yeses that turned into the best yeses that people have ever said. And promises that were actually kept over the last year that I got to watch unfold. I've never been so inspired in my life. And I'm ready. I am so ready to lead and to help you to just simply see what's possible. That's it. That's all that I want for you. If you finish that training tomorrow and just say, wow, there's a lot more out there that I could do, then I did my job. Okay, I hope I see you on the training, jennaslink.com. I will be in the chat for the whole first part of the training, and then I'm coming on at the end. I'm like the closing act, and so I will be looking for you guys in the chat. Make a promise to yourself, whether or not it's the training. Make just some promise to yourself that you keep because you're worth it. Okay, hopefully see you tomorrow.